Hey, good Thursday evening to you. I hope you're having a great day and a good week. Time for another edition of evening web stream, and we'll continue to keep you updated as we get closer to this next winter storm system. It's wintry weather likely with some snowfall, very cold temperatures, and even potentially some pipe busting cold if we have a prolonged period of sub-freezing temperatures. Hopefully not, but this air mass moving in this weekend will surpass what we saw this past weekend in terms of the very cold air. So yeah, thank you for joining us. Let's talk about what we're going to be seeing with our weekend impact. So number one, starting later Friday afternoon, the timing could be as early as late morning and after lunchtime, but generally speaking, some scattered light snow showers developing in the afternoon, picking up a little bit more later Friday night, overnight into Saturday morning. So basically from Friday afternoon through the first half of Saturday, accumulating snow as possible. Now notice what we have here. The best chances for accumulating snow, generally speaking, east of Interstate 75 from Knoxville east. West of that line from Knoxville west, there'll be more limited snow chances and lighter snowfall in general. Yeah, it's just the way we've been talking the last couple of days that we're kind of going to be on the western fringe, the back edge of this developing storm system. So that generally still looks true. But again, there'll be some light snowfall even for those areas west, but greater amounts expected for the eastern half of East Tennessee. Of course, we'll get to the nuts and bolts of that with the details on our totals map and impacts coming right up. So let's walk through these are the headlines. So we got the snow part of the equation from Friday through Saturday morning. At least it will taper off later Saturday. Then we've got the bitterly cold air starting later Friday afternoon and evening. We're expected to drop below freezing. We may stay below freezing until later Monday afternoon. The potential for over 60 hours of at or below freezing temperatures. And that's one of the issues with that type of sustained cold. But look at, what are we talking about? Well, colder than even last weekend. Temperatures around 20 maybe for the high with the air temperature on Saturday, with also single-digit wind chills, if not below zero wind chills expected. Anywhere from 5 above to 5 below zero wind chills Saturday night into Sunday morning. So yeah, very cold Arctic air, bitterly cold air, and some frigid nights and mornings expected. And particularly if we get some snow on the ground, those nights could be even colder. So with that sustained cold of several days during the day and at night, very cold temperatures at night, we will definitely need to drip the faucets this weekend. Wrap and insulate those exposed pipes. You probably already have everything winterized, hopefully around your home, exterior, and as far as interior, you probably have all the supplies you may need, even going back to last weekend, depending on how much you got. You know, maybe have some leftovers, so to speak. So make sure you're prepared for the bitterly cold air for an extended period, number one. Weather impact alert from Friday afternoon through Monday morning. And now as far as on the front end, we've got that snowfall that's kind of on the front end with the Arctic air Friday night into the first half of Saturday. And then it's just we got to endure some very cold nights and mornings after that. So here's what we're looking at as far as our 3-day forecast. Now, temperatures tomorrow get above freezing, mid to upper 30s. And so dry during the morning. We'll start to see those chances for scattered, mainly light snow showers developing. Take it full here as we get into your Friday afternoon and evening. So later in the afternoon, particularly, may see it starting around lunchtime, but scattered light snow showers in the afternoon. Friday night into the first half of Saturday, right in here, Friday night to Saturday morning. That's when our best chances for accumulating snowfall will be around the region in general. But look at the temperature Saturday. I mean, 20 for a low and then a high of 21, basically near 20 and even falling into the teens. But wind chills Saturday during the day are expected to be, again, between 5 above and 5 degrees below zero, even during the day Saturday. So this is one of those, now the good news here, no ice, it's just all snow, one precip type expected with this system, so that's good news. But if the kiddos, the parents, if you want to get out and like play in the snow, you got to bundle up. I mean, we're talking about wind chills in the lower single digits during the day, so that's some biting cold air, so really got to take it seriously and bundle up. As far as getting out and enjoying any snow, etc., Sunday may be the better day because it won't be quite as blustery, not quite as cold. I mean, 26 for the high, and we start out frigid. But anyway, it may not be quite as cold of wind chills Sunday. It shouldn't be compared to Saturday. It'll still be very cold. Just looking ahead, cross that bridge later, right? So our 10 weather impact alert, just to kind of walk through the particulars, and we'll get to those snowfall maps in just a moment. Cold temperatures with very low wind chills. You got to dress appropriately. Again, this air mass will be even colder than what we saw last weekend, and that snow shower activity expected from Friday afternoon through Saturday morning. Slick roads are likely. And as we talked about, it only takes a little bit to make the roads extra slick. But yeah, anything that falls will stick. The ground is cold, the air is cold, so and it's just snow. By the way, and I think we talked about this yesterday, if not, I'll mention it here. It's going to be a very dry, fluffy snow with low water content, especially compared to what we saw last weekend, you know, snow, sleet. That was a wet type snow and sleet, and of course freezing rain and rain. But that was a very wet system with that wintry weather. This one will be more of a drier snow, all snow, and then it's just a matter of the amounts, but impactful travel either way. So from Friday afternoon through Monday morning, weather impact alerts, light to moderate snow from Friday into Saturday morning, bitterly cold temperatures. Again, so far, this will be the coldest air we've seen so far this winter, and so you definitely need to use caution on the roads driving. And even once the snow's going to taper off later Saturday afternoon and evening, that winter storm, the Carolina, is still on track to really develop well to our east. So that will kind of absorb all the snow into it. So we're talking mainly from Friday afternoon through Saturday morning event. But certainly, again, bundle up if you're going to be out and about, and driving not recommended. Hazardous travel conditions will be possible, especially as we go later Friday through most of Saturday as far as driving. Again, that's going to be an issue. So here's your impacts. Yeah, on the roads, we've got a high impact on the travel because those slippery and slick snow-covered roads that are untreated particularly. We've got the very high, even low-end extreme on the cold because this air is the coldest of the season. And again, we're talking about temperatures in the near 20 to teens on Saturday, actually dropping in those below zero wind chills. So very cold. So that's 20 degrees below zero wind chills in the mountains. So that's some serious cold. That's why we have that as a very high to low extreme impact. Accumulated snowfall into the higher category, and again, enough to cause some issues. So let's talk about let's talk about the alerts, then I'll get to the snowfall map, and then we'll conclude. Cold weather advisory will be in place starting 5 a.m. Saturday through 1 p.m. Sunday. And so we kind of knew this was coming, very cold air, even surpassing last weekend. And we had the cold weather advisories then. In the wake of that, there's your wind chills, 5 above to 5 below. And again, we're talking about in the mountains, those wind chills. An extreme cold watch is in place for the mountains right now. This is just a matter of time. That will be upgraded to an extreme cold warning, no doubt. Wind chills as low as 20 degrees below zero. And we'll have to see. Nothing's been issued for Kentucky counties. They have a winter weather advisory, but nothing on cold weather. That's just a matter of time. I don't want to guess, but at least will be a cold weather advisory. For Bell and Harlan, it may end up being an extreme cold warning because they're higher up. The higher up you go, again, we've talked about this, the better chance for snow, and the colder it gets as you increase in elevation or altitude. It gets colder with better chance for snow. So here's the dividing line. Look at this. And then again, there is going to be a sharp gradient in snowfall amounts. So the eastern half of East Tennessee expected to see much higher snowfall potential compared to the western half. Notice Jamestown and Crossville, parts of Fentress and Cumberland counties, don't have any type of winter weather alert right now. And across the western valley, west of Knoxville, this includes Oak Ridge. It does include Loudoun County, Monroe County, again, Roane, Morgan, Scott, up to Campbell, Union, Claiborne, on up into Kentucky. Winter weather advisory for lower snowfall amounts. Now, still could have that possibility of 1 to 2 inches, maybe 1 to 3 inches some areas, but it's the threshold, the criteria is for more of lower end snowfall in the advisory area. Advisory is for less amounts. A warning is for higher amounts in general. So that's the differences between the two. With the warning, hazardous travel likely expected, and again with the advisory, hazardous travel possible. And so there's the timing, Friday 1 p.m. through Sunday 1 a.m., just after midnight Saturday, and for the advisory, Friday 1 p.m. through Saturday 7 p.m. So Knoxville's about right in the middle, the dividing line. Doesn't it always seem to be just the way it works out with Knoxville, right in the Central Valley? You literally could see the models are showing. I'm going to show you that. Let me go ahead and advance to the next one so we can just talk about this. We'll spend some time here, obviously. Models are showing. See the contours? And this is just one model contour in the background. Most of them are showing generally the same type of thing. Some of them differ here and there, but this one we feel like shows the spirit of what will more than likely transpire. But even in Knox County, you may have a gradient of snow between, let's just say, deep west Knox County, Farragut, Hardin Valley, versus east Knox County and Strawberry Plains, for example. And then one county over, Jefferson County may see a good bit more snow than even Knox County. Again, Knoxville itself is kind of dividing line. So amounts. Let's start back to the west, then we'll keep it clean, go east. An inch or two is possible. Lighter snowfall amounts across the plateau. Again, less expected in general. It may only be an inch in some cases. That's a little bit beyond that western fringe and edge, but some models are still showing that chance. So that's a range. It's a potential. It's obviously as a forecast, just a potential range there, right? So that's what it looks like. It could be a little bit less than that in some areas. And then as you come further east, again, keep in mind where the winter storm warning separates from the advisory. Then right in Knoxville, we had this yesterday. We really haven't changed that much. 1 to 3 inches possible across the immediate Central Valley in around Knoxville. However, these have changed. All you have to do is just go one county over. So I'll mention the counties: Granger, Claiborne, Hancock, Hawkins, Hamblin, including Morristown. Jefferson would be Dandridge, Jefferson City, Greene, Koch, Sevier, and Blount counties. So those counties I just mentioned, and almost East Knox County, but those counties I just mentioned, just east of Knoxville, we got 2 to 4 and 3 to 5 plus, and in the mountains, 5 to 7. So let me take it full so you can see it a little bit better, and I'll tell straight. So again, once you get, basically, I'll just kind of draw a little arrow here, just for a little bit better. This is in general, again, it's not, I'm just drawing a line, just trying to emphasize what we're talking about. So east of this line, if you will, this is where you're going to have noticeably more snow, especially across the eastern areas, the counties I mentioned, and in the cities: Rogersville, Morristown, Dandridge, Jefferson City, most of Sevier County. Where you see this shade of blue, Blount, Sevier, Koch, and Greene counties, some more of your mountains, foothills, but even in northern parts of these areas. And I'll go ahead and throw in Dandridge and Jefferson County, White Pine, again, parts of Hamblin, maybe Greene. This zone area right here, that's where we're looking at that potential for more snowfall. And so, again, just to kind of circle those areas again, this is what a lot of our models showing. This is probably the zone where we'll see the most snow in general, and that's where the amounts increase. So you could go from a 1 to 3 in the Central Valley to a 3 to 5 and not have to travel. I'll just throw out an example. So if you went from Knoxville, you had a 1 to 3 inch range. Well, we don't want people driving, but let's just say, for example, if you went to exit 407 in Kodak, you're in the 3 to 5. So that's the type of gradient that we're looking at. And you go further toward the mountains, you're in the 5 to 7, but especially higher up. Highest peaks, the mountains models are showing 10, 11 inches. It's kind of pick a number. So that's what we're looking at for the gradient. Now, let's talk about, let's see if I get to my next map here. I believe we have that on track. This is our local Futurecast. I'll just kind of fast forward from that. And I want to get to the regional views. So right now we're 31, chilly tonight in the low to mid 20s. And here's what we're seeing. Again, mainly dry tonight. And then let's spend some time on our regional Futurecast here. And I've got some pause points. So let's talk about the timing, and we'll let you see how this particular high-res model is showing it, playing out. So here's a look at Friday afternoon. This is 2 p.m. I just stopped it. We may start seeing some light snow flurries before then. Some models are showing that. Should generally start out light, and it looks like it's going to be starting out initially, maybe even late tomorrow morning up in Kentucky, and for you in Southwest Virginia, working its way southward. So this band is going to start in Kentucky and sink southward from probably late Friday morning up in Kentucky and then into the afternoon in East Tennessee. So that's what it's expected to do. Let me kind of do this manually, just let it play out. So once we go through the afternoon and evening, may have a little bit of a brief lull, but it looks like later Friday night, and here's what's going on. See how that snow kind of increases. Let's see, I went past my pause point. Let me stop it right there. That's Saturday, 2 a.m. So once we move later Friday night and just after midnight, here's what's going on. The low pressure that's initially forming is tracking to our south. The upper low is moving in from the west, and so you're starting to see everything kind of getting its act together and starting to feed in a little bit more. So that's why Friday night into Saturday morning is the time frame for the best chances for snow in general across our region. In general, lighter Friday afternoon, but then picking up later Friday evening, Friday night. And then that deep low pressure is going to form off the coast. So that's Saturday, 2 a.m. And there you see, if you look real closely here, I'll probably try to zoom on in here. If you look real closely, again, there's that kind of cutoff and dividing line. Let me zoom on in. Let me take it full so you can see that a little bit better, and I'll come back out. And again, doesn't mean, and this is a model, doesn't mean it's not going to be snowing at all across areas that are back up on the plateau. But the spirit of what this model's showing, you're talking about Knox County being I mean, look at that, right? It's got the back edge literally just west of Knox, for example, and this is Saturday at 9 a.m. It's just a model, doesn't mean it's going to be perfect, but a lot of our modeling has been showing that gradient, and that's what I wanted to point out. That looks like that's the trend. There's going to definitely be a sharp gradient between lighter snowfall, Western Valley and the plateau, and then once you get close to Knoxville and east, it's going to be longer. And the simple point on that is it has longer time to snow, okay? It's just that simple. It's the duration. So then once we see that play on out, and let me widen back out now because I'll bring that back to this point. There we go. I'll try to get that back up. Widen back out here. Then once we move on forward, we're going to see this system developing off the coast. So here's how it kind of plays out. Look at the snow falling. Oh boy, down in Georgia. Just about all of South Carolina has a chance for accumulating snow. Wow, you don't see that very often. From the mountains through the Midlands to the coastal areas of South Carolina. It's going to snow in Charleston, Myrtle Beach, it looks like. Yeah, they probably still have their supplies from last weekend because they were getting ready for that type of event as well. I mean, heavy snow all the way out in the Atlantic Ocean. Look at that line, right? There's your mix line out in the Atlantic. Very strong wind gusts. Now, at one point, models were showing close to hurricane force wind gusts and maybe some blizzard conditions with blowing snow. They may have backed off on that slightly because the low pressure may be tracking a little bit more out to sea. But so back up to our weather here just for a moment. The snow is going to pull out. The timing on this particular model is anytime, well, it's kind of got it to lunchtime, but it'll still be snowing in the mountains through the afternoon, upslope flow. But generally, we'll see most of the accumulating snow starting to wind down Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening. There is going to be a slight chance, this particular high-res model doesn't show it, we may see a little bit of trailing energy trying to ring out some flurries again later Sunday, but right now, that's not in the forecast. Bitterly cold air is in the forecast for that. So here's your 7-day. Again, just kind of wrap it all up. And as far as the expectations, again, we've talked about the cold for Friday afternoon through Saturday morning. The snow, I should say, for Friday afternoon through Saturday morning. Some snowfall. Again, anywhere from light to moderate snowfall across most areas, heavier in eastern areas and toward the mountains, but accumulating snow possible with hazardous travel conditions expected because everything could stick. So that's our weather impact alert for Friday into Saturday, and the bitterly cold air that starts Friday night and runs all the way through Monday morning. We got a low of 9 for Sunday morning, and there's a look at that low of 8 for Monday morning. And then notice Monday, we may not get above freezing until later in the afternoon. Quick side note, Monday is Groundhog Day, and may or may not see a shadow. Next graphic. So here's, we just had fun with the ground. Anyway, back up in the 40s for your Tuesday and Wednesday. There is a chance for some rain mixing with some snow showers, and we'll watch that. Temperatures look to drop off from mid-40s Wednesday into the upper 30s on Thursday, but right now it doesn't look super impactful, but there's that chance for a little bit of a mix later next week. But the key there is at least we get above freezing toward the middle part of the week, and we'll have a chance to thaw out. Okay, that's the latest as of now. We're Thursday evening. Tomorrow afternoon, starting maybe earlier and up to the north in the morning, but into the afternoon, and especially Friday night, overnight to Saturday morning, that's when we'll start to see some of that snowfall increasing, especially across the eastern half of the region, and we'll continue to keep you updated. But get ready for the cold, and yeah, get ready to bundle up. We'll keep you updated. Have a good, safe night.